What's going on, family? It's your guy, vegan trainer. Alright, you can call me Tay Sweat though. I like Tay Sweat too. So, if you don't know by now, this is the We Good podcast, alright? And of course, a lot of you are gonna ask me, as usual, why do you call it the We Good podcast? Because most of you vegans are always asking me, where am I getting my information? Where am I getting my protein? Some of you non-vegans are asking me, where am I getting my nutrients? Where am I getting my protein? And the only thing I got to say to all of you is we good. All right, don't worry about me. We good. Okay, we good. It feels good to be back. For those of you that have been keeping up on my Instagram, you do know that I'm a happily married man now. Okay, so for those of you who are watching, I'm showing you my ring. I am a happily married man now. The wedding was great. We also did a honeymoon in Bali, Indonesia. Okay, and that's what I want to talk about today. That is a big part of today's topic or show period. It's probably the whole show. But I wanted to pre-frame the show and tell you basically that yes, I went to Bali. Yes, it was amazing. And yes, I think you should go. Now, why do I think you should go? Number one reason is because if you're listening to this podcast, it's because you're either vegan already, you're interested in becoming vegan, or you just think we're pretty cool, okay? Which is okay too, all right? But Bali was amazing. And of course, you know me, I'm a little bit of a, I guess you can call me a geek a little bit, all right? I like to ask a lot of questions. I like to be in the know. I like to know what's going on and why. And I like to know who is doing what and where they're doing it. So I ask a lot of questions. So while we were in Bali, I got a few takeaways, okay? The first thing on my mind landing in Bali was to find out about the culture. What are they eating? What are their normal, you know, what are their normal day-to-day habits? What are, you know, this was my biggest one. What's the rate of obesity? Okay, because in America, you walk around everywhere. The brown and black people, more especially, are all overweight. And it's not, I like to say that it's not our fault, okay? Because most of us don't know better. It's not our fault because most of us don't know that it's also food, or it's also due to the foods we have access to. But it's also just due to the fact that this is a free country and just people just do whatever they want to do, okay? So when I got there, that was the first thing that I noticed, that there weren't any overweight people. And if they were, it was because they didn't live there. They were visiting. Okay, so the overweight people were all from other areas. So I started to do a process of elimination. I got questions, okay? And these questions, this is what I wanted to share with you all to show you the differences in how we live, how they live, and to show you the similarities to where we're going and where they already are. Okay, so that's what I wanted to talk about today. So I'm leading away from the overweight or the obese or the lack thereof in their country or in their, you know, area, and I'm asking questions. So my first question was, hey, are you all vegetarian? Because most people there were vegetarian unless they were starting to get into the westernized philosophy of eating other things to be free, if that makes sense, okay? So most of them were by default vegetarian. Okay, as I was asking around, and I got the chance to talk to a lot of local people, and most of them were vegetarian. One, because Hinduism and Buddhism really big there, and of course, if you're Hindu, Buddhist, I mean, it makes sense, right? That's a part of the culture, a part of the religion, or the spiritual system that, you know, we know to be Buddhism and Hinduism. But not only that, even when there was a not so good habit like smoking, so I did see a lot of smoking, even then their cigarettes were they weren't as bad, for one. For two, they had really big signs on the cigarettes that says smoking kills, beware, warning, like really big signs, like the size of my head, literally, on like the cartons of cigarettes. So they wanted to make it a little bit more, you know, hey, this is going to kill you if you eat it or if you smoke it, or it can kill you. So that was, you know, a few of the takeaways I got away from just asking those few questions. So with me asking questions, of course, they started to ask questions back, which was great. You know, we're dialoguing now. You know, we're having a good dialogue. And one of the questions that hurt me deep down was, do you know what pizza tastes like? Literally somebody asked me, do you know what pizza tastes like? And, you know, of course, you know, being from America, I'm like, of course we know what pizza tastes like. You know, we invented pizza. we didn't. But still, you know, I'm thinking to myself, of course I know what pizza tastes like. You know, it's amazing. And the guy's like, well, we can't afford pizza. That's something it's more of a luxury here. So we're forced to eat fruits, vegetables, you know, nut seeds, and, you know, little grains here and there. And it blew my mind because, first of all, it's the total opposite over here. People, you know, if you're not so, you know, if you're broke, or if you're not so well off financially, you just go get a $5 pizza from Pizza Hut, or you just go, you know, or you just go get something super cheap, you know, and it's usually a pizza. You can get a 99-cent pizza out of the frozen section at the grocery store. So this it blew my mind, and it was also sad because it's like, man, you know, first of all, I think everybody should taste pizza. Okay, I'm all about the healthy lifestyle, but pizza is amazing. Okay, and I think everybody should at least taste pizza once, you know. Secondly, it was just sad to see someone in a position that they couldn't afford a type of food. Not afford a type of food once, because even the people here who are quote unquote poor in America, we could drum together some money to get food once. Like, even if, I don't care what it is, usually, you know, let's just say if the vegan diet, you know, in the Western Hemisphere is too expensive for most people, the average person in poverty could drum together some money and get, you know, a plant-based meal. But to hear somebody say, I can't buy a pizza, that hurt. It really hurt. And it made me understand how for granted we take things over here, you know, not just for pizza, but just the simple fact that for the most part, you know, we over here have access to everything, you know. And to be honest, I mean, as a free country, if you want it, you just get off your butt and go get it. For the most part, you want to get more money, you just get off your butt, go get it. You know, work hard, wash some extra windows or something. You can go get the money, and then you can go buy the pizza or whatever it is you can't afford. Over there, it wasn't so easy. So that really hit me hard. But for the good news, we kept talking. So this guy, we're talking, we're going through, this is a cooking class, by the way. I'm taking a cooking class for Balinese, you know, traditional Balinese meals, made vegan, of course. And so the instructor that I have, or that we have, my wife and I, we're talking and we're hanging out. We're like family now. So we're hanging out, we're talking, and we're just, you know, asking each other questions. And he threw two things at me, and it caught me by surprise. He said, okay, we're going to make a dessert for later when we finish this. It was a 6-meal, so we made 6 meals basically, and the 6th meal was basically a dessert. And he's like, hey, we're going to make the dessert now because it needs to set, you know, so we'll make the other meals while the dessert is setting. He said, and I apologize if the dessert isn't too good because we don't eat dessert in this country. Like traditionally, we don't do dessert. That's an American thing or an Australian thing, or, you know. And it hit me. And I was like, wow. So you all don't do dessert. He's, you know, and he's like, we like sweet things, but we don't do dessert. So if we want something sweet, we'll just put a little, you know, coconut sugar in, you know, our traditional meal, and our peanut sauce or whatever, and we'll just eat that with our rice. You know, we don't do actual dessert. We don't go out of our way to make something sweet. That was the first thing that got me, because that's so, I don't know, indigenous to me. It just sounded indigenous, if it makes sense. And when he said that, it hit me hard. And I said, okay, check one. That's one of the reasons why they don't have, quote unquote, overweight. After hearing that they don't do dessert, that locked it in for me, as far as thinking, okay, well, I don't see many obese or overweight people. Dessert is one of those things, you know, sugar, processed sugar especially. So now it's making sense to me, and it's starting to evolve. The next thing, which is my second best news of the day is that he told me Americans eat too much. This was his specific words. Americans eat too much. And as a matter of fact, you know, they're starting to spread that way of eating across the planet. And he says, we don't eat until 11 o'clock, okay? In the morning, we don't eat until 11. And I thought, I see where you're going here, okay? Most of you who follow me on Instagram and everywhere, you know I'm a big fan of fasting anyway, and I'm always talking about how we'll dive into that. So, he says we don't eat till 11. We eat whatever we want in between the hours of 11 and 7 p.m. At 7 p.m., we're done. And this is traditional Balinese, you know, cuisine and scheduling as far as eating goes. This is what he's telling me, okay? I'm not making any of this up just for, you know, I'm sure I got somebody out there, you know, a troll or something who's like, he's lying. This is coming not from my mouth. I'm just relaying the message, okay? So what I took from that was going back to nature, like I'm always talking about. Once again, if you follow my Instagram, I actually just made a post where I was talking about the 3 8-hour windows we have in nature. Okay, so they're already some of the poorest people that I've ever met are following nature's laws. Maybe, you know, is it something they're forced to do? Maybe. However, are they still doing much better than people who actually have money to do things? Yes. We actually have the resources. We actually have what it takes, and we're not using it. You know, we're not using what we have to our, you know, at our disposal. And it kind of reminded me like that. I don't know if any of you ever had like a rich friend or that just bratty friend who's like basically spoiled by his or her parents. They get everything they want, but they start taking things for granted. So you like this nice little toy that's $10, and if it's not $100 toy or above, the bratty kid just, you know, doesn't play with it. And that's kind of how I felt about us versus them. I felt like we have it all over here, and if we just applied the actual laws of nature to the actual resources we have, we could be amazing. We could do some damage, okay? Some good damage, but we could be amazing. But we have the resources, they don't. They have the nature and the connection with nature still, and we don't. And it's failing us. They're okay, if you ask me. So that was really huge because they're practicing intermittent fasting because that's a part of the nature of what we're supposed to be doing. And they're just following their tradition, if that makes sense. So I thought that was pretty cool. I thought that was really amazing seeing that in America we have this it's new, okay? I'm using those air quotes for those of you who can't see. It's new for us to start intermittent fasting. That's like the new thing, okay? Oh, hey, have you tried this new thing called intermittent fasting? Oh yeah, I'm doing the IF. Isn't that just like America to discover, I'm using the air quotes again, to discover something that has already been here for thousands of years? Fasting is in every religion pretty much. I mean, seriously, if you look in any religion, there's going to be some sort of fasting there. If you look at most of your cultures, fasting was a part of the culture. So now we come back, you know, bring full speed around, and now we're Columbusing fasting, okay? Fasting has been here. Intermittent fasting has been here. Do your research. But I'm going to get off all right, I'm starting to get on the soapbox. But it really just hit me because I'm thinking to myself, these guys, these gals already have it figured out. This is something that's a part of their culture. They've been doing it, and we're just now discovering fasting, okay? And it almost made me want to just leave the United States, to be honest, and move somewhere like that. But of course, I love my U.S. Okay, this is my land. Okay, what's the song of this? Land is your land. This land is my land. This land is my land. Okay, and I'm not going anywhere. So, so my goal here is to bring that type of culture back to what we are supposed to be doing and bring it to the U.S. and make it not some fad or trendy thing, IF, intermittent fasting, you know, no. We're going to make this thing something that we do as a culture. This is something we're supposed to be doing. Once again, and I'll break it down. Once again, we have 3 8-hour windows that goes with the 24 hours in a day. So if there's 24 hours in a day, there's 24 hours in us. If you multiply 3 8-hour windows, that equals 24 hours. Okay? And there's a window for 8 hours. There's a window where the body is digesting foods. And this is around that 11 to 7. Some people want to say 12 to 8, but that's that 8-hour window where the body's digesting the food. This is the time to actually use or eat the food. The body's ready to eat and intake this food. And then you go to your next 8 hours, the body starts to use the food you just ate to break it down, utilize what it needs, or gets at least it ready. It's called the utilization phase. It gets it ready to be utilized and distributed throughout the body, while also taking what it doesn't need and pushing it to the side so it can be pooped out in the morning. Okay, now that's where the next 8 hours comes, because it's kind of like we call it the purging period. Okay, air quotes again. I love my air quotes if you don't know by now. All right, we call it the purging period. This is the period where the body's taking that leftover junk that it doesn't want and it's getting ready to poop it out or pee it out. Okay, this is why you pee and poop in the morning, every morning, like clockwork. At least you should. Okay, if you're not, then we got some issues. Okay, you need to come holler at me. All right. So this is what's going on. So these are the 3 8-hour windows that we should be abiding by. Now, as soon as you break the fast by eating breakfast, okay, break fast, breakfast. As soon as you break the fast, you slow down, or you actually stop this phase. So this is why for all of my coaching clients, I have all of my clients wait until 11 a.m. because that's where the body is, where it wants to be. So I just line you back up with nature, and then I let nature do its job. Okay, so I line you with nature. What are you supposed to be eating? What are you supposed to, when are you supposed to be eating? And we align it with nature, and nature does the rest. Okay, so this is how we're able to, make things like IBS go from horrible on a scale of 1 to 10, being a horrible 10, all the way down to a 1, to where it's like I don't feel like I have it. We've been able to do that with pretty much everything else. Diabetes, lupus. It's not me. Okay, I'm not doing anything. So to cover my butt, I don't claim to treat, cure, prevent any diseases or illnesses. Okay, what I do is I just push you into the line of nature, and then once we get into the line of nature, then nature does its job. Okay, so get mad at nature for that. It's not me. Okay, I just push you to nature. So I'm throwing the alley-oop. Nature's dunking the basketball for all of my people out there who like basketball. So that's kind of what we do. That's what I really feel like I took away from the trip. If you want to see any more about this trip, what we did, pictures of where we went, what we ate, I pretty much posted it all to Instagram. So go to my Instagram, I am the vegan trainer. Go check that out. Okay, follow me. Okay, you should be following me by now. YouTube, I know my people on YouTube land, they don't like to really leave YouTube. Hey, go follow me, especially if you want to see my wife, you want to see what she looks like, because I know some of y'all ladies are like, oh, let me see what his wife looks like. Okay, let's see what she looks like. Go check her out. Okay, she's there. You want to see what I ate? I was eating, oh man, so many amazing fruits: mangosteen, rambutan, sour sop. So many great fruits. Passion fruit. They had like Balinese pears. Oh, they don't like avocados over there. So when we were going through the cooking class, we also went through a trip. I went through like picking our own fruits and vegetables for the cooking that we were about to do. And he's going around, the guy is going around showing us everything, all the fruits, all the vegetables that they grow, and And after you leave me a little love on Instagram, just remember to comment, like, subscribe for my YouTubers. Okay, everybody here on iTunes, be sure to leave me a little star, give me a little 5-star, a little love. I'd love it. Okay, and then outside of that, just remember that you too have the right to eat yourself to death or to life. Okay, it's a choice, baby. It's a the choice is yours. So until next time, remember, my name is Tay Sweat. This is the We Good podcast, all right? And I love you all. Be great. Talk to you soon. Peace.